Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. My name is Jim Landers, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you get tips and systems on the business side of photography. They're designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales, reducing the struggles that most photographers make, so you can finally get what you deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and Landers Photography School. Now, Digital Pro Lab, go to digitalprolab.com. These guys are fantastic. They're not hiring the minimum wage workers. They're hiring the career people who love doing what they do and who like making you look like a hero every time you print your work. Digitalprolab.com. Amanda and her team love us, and so we love them back. My own company, Landers Photography School, of course, I'm teaching photography and I'm teaching the photography classes, but I'm also mostly doing the business of photography because I want to help you gain mastery over marketing sales so that you could get what you deserve, an incredible income doing what you love in photography. That's what I do full time, landersphotoschool.com, or just reach out to me directly, jim@landersphotoschool.com via email. You could DM me, you can post in the comments. Speaking of post in the comments, I encourage you to post in the comments. Now, in order for me to see what you're doing, you can see going across the screen right now is our platform. We use StreamYard to be able to simulcast this show to multiple places, 5 different Facebook groups, 2 YouTube channels, and 1 LinkedIn page. And in order for us to see who it is that's making comments, then you have to register. You have to tell StreamYard that it's okay for them to use your name. Otherwise, it will say something like Facebook user or YouTube user. And that's fine. If you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. But if you want us to see who you are so I can call out, do what it says at the bottom. It says go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And you are now, I'm now able to see your name. Now, I want you to go right now into the comments section and enter in hashtag live. I want to know who's watching live right now. Now, if you're watching this as a replay, and I know a lot of you do watch this as a replay, I want you to enter in hashtag replay. So letting me know. But if you're watching right now live, I want you to enter in hashtag live into the comments. Hashtag live into the comments. I can see a couple of you have done it already. So do that for me right now. Hashtag live in the comments. So I know that you're watching right now. So I also want you to do me a favor and click share. Just click share. You know, you've got across the bottom, you've got the likes and the comments and the share. Click on share. Let other people know that this exists. Now, a lot of people know it exists, but not everybody does. And some people need reminders. So help me out by doing that. And at the same time, help yourself out. Because when we uplift the photography community, everyone is better for it. So do your small part and enter in or click on that share button. Now, if you know someone who would be benefited by listening to this show or by watching this show, enter in comment and then the @ symbol and their name. That way they get a direct link to it. All right, enough about that. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. We are doing today a panel discussion. And we do that on the second Monday of every single month. We move it from noon, which is the time we always do it. We move it from noon to 6:30 in the evening to accommodate schedules better. And we bring on up to 3 people who are somewhat knowledgeable about the subject that we have going on today. And today is no exception. We have 3 wonderful people. I'm going to bring them on right now so that you can meet them. And let's bring on Emily and Mimi and Mary. Hi, you guys. I'm so glad that you're here with me today.
Thank you for having us, Jim.
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
This is awesome. Thank you.
Look at those smiles. Don't you guys just love it? All right. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves, and then I'm going to ask a series of questions. So I'm going to take you guys off and leave right now just Emily on to tell us a little bit about herself. So I'll bring Mimi back in a moment, Mary back in a moment. So Emily, can you tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you do?
So I'm actually a teacher by trade. I spent this is my 15th year teaching. And so I spent 13 years as a high school agriculture teacher. And the last 2 years, I've been a middle school science teacher. I've shown horses my entire life and been involved in the agriculture industry most of my life. As far as photography goes, I started shooting at a young age, shooting horses and livestock and wildlife. And then when I started teaching, I connected with my students and just started into the portrait photography. But really, in the last couple of years, I've really grown and grown a lot as a photographer as well as in the business, and really trying to make a name for myself now.
Nice. Well, it's really cool that you can do those two things. I mean, teaching is not something that anyone would consider easy. Just no problem. Just go do it. No problem. I'll be full of energy to do another full-time job when I get done with that. So you must have something special that causes you to be able to do those things. So hopefully we'll glean a little bit of that specialness from you today.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for being here, Emily.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to bring on Mimi next. Let's see. Mimi.
Hello.
How's it going, Mimi?
Great.
Coming to us all the way from Georgia, even though she lives right here in San Antonio. By the way, for those of you who are watching, we are in San Antonio, Texas, but I am well aware there's people from all over who are watching the show, and thank you for doing that. This show isn't for San Antonio, it's for photographers. However, the guests that we have almost always are from right here. Not always, but even though she's in Georgia, she's from right here in San Antonio. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
My name is Gamez, and I go by Mimi. I am happily married to my wonderful and very supportive husband, Jesse, for 18 years. We have a beautiful 12-year-old daughter that keeps us busy with her love of sports. She plays volleyball and basketball, so we're always busy with her. Together, we love to travel, whether it's flying or cruising. We love spending time together. In my life, I am a firm believer that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And it is with this in mind that I have been able to accomplish many goals. I am by daytime a full-time software developer. I have also been known to create, jewelry. I'm a silversmith. I create my own jewelry sometimes. I love baking. And I have, I bake from cupcakes to wedding cakes. And I even had a business making marshmallows. And that was featured in Foot Network magazine. It was pretty good.
Cool. Wow.
So in all of that, I love photographing everything I make. So that's where my love of photography comes. I love photographing everything. And I love more than that, capturing families and those special moments that happen in life. So that's where my love of photography comes from and how I started in this path.
Love it.
Thank you.
Well, just like Emily, you've got a ton of things on your plate. And so you've got the full-time work that you're doing. You're doing the full-time work of being a photographer and the other things that you mentioned, the jeweler and being a mom and et cetera. Do you have more hours in the day than the rest of us? Should I be taking your time bending class?
I wish. I wish, but I do enjoy keeping busy.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for being here, Mimi. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'm going to bring on Mary to talk about her. So let's bring on Mary. Mary.
Hey, Jim.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
And I'm glad you're here with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
So I grew up with a camera in my pocket. My earliest memory was traveling through Europe as a Girl Scout. That was my first taste of photography. I had a little 110 camera in my pocket. As life happened, I never intended on becoming a professional photographer, but it just kind of happened. I always laugh and joke and say I fell on my face into photography. I have been a professional photographer for 12 years. I have always, since I began photography, really relied on my work as a photographer for a living. That's how I support my family, and did it as a single mom. So for those of you out there who don't know, yes, it's possible. You can make a living as a photographer. In addition to that, I have a passion for working and mentoring young people. So I'm very involved with supporting the world of scouting. I have a nonprofit that does that, helps young people learn how to sail. And then I also run a pageantry business, and I am an award-winning pageant director and have coached girls to international titles, curated winning portfolios for them, and even shot award-winning headshots for those girls. But my serious passion is working with high school seniors. They have a really unique take on life. They are so energetic and they're super fun, and they challenge me and they energize me and they keep me on my toes. And so I work with a nice solid group of them every year, mentoring them through their entire senior year.
Wow. That's a ton of stuff.
It's a ton of stuff.
Man.
I love what I do, and what I do has opened really weird doors. I've got work in the Smithsonian. I'm only 47 years old. Normally you have to die before you get into the Smithsonian. But being willing
I didn't know you had work in the Smithsonian.
I do. So I was one of the photographers that
really
helped
cool.
photograph the first handbook for girls in Boy Scouting. And they flew me all over the country to work with young ladies and capture epic and iconic moments for girls in Boy Scouting. And some of that work is part of the national collection with the Smithsonian. And I will never be an Eagle Scout. That's not, I raised 2 Eagle Scouts. I will never be an Eagle Scout, but my contribution to the future of scouting and to scouting history is this one book, which is first edition. It'll never happen again. I'm really proud of that accomplishment, and I literally fell on my face into that opportunity.
Nice. Love it. Well, I have the first question for you, Mary.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Sure.
I'm going to put it up on the screen so everybody can see it. But I want you to describe who your ideal client is. And is it the senior or is it the parent?
So it's actually both. I have to balance what the parent needs and what the parent wants with what is necessary for the senior. So the senior wants to be cool, she wants to be trendy, she wants to fit in with her friends, she wants to have an experience, but the parent needs art on their walls, stuff they can mail out. They need, this is going to be the only version of their child in their home the next year when their kid goes off to college. So I have to be able to honor that as well. And so I work really hard at balancing those 2 sets of needs and finding something that works for both of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about your marketing? Is it more geared towards mom or is it more geared towards the senior?
So if you look through my Instagram, you'll find that it balances between them.
So
it's absolutely both. So the pictures really draw in the young people, but it's the information that I give that draws in the adults. And that they want the information. They want to know that I'm an expert in my field. They want to know that when they're giving me all this money, that I'm going to hold their hand and help them through this process, and that they don't have to have that anxiety of, oh my God, is she going to be ready? Oh my God, does she have the right clothes? Oh my gosh, none of that happens with me. I literally hold their hand through the whole process, and I say, okay, so today's the day we make the decision on this, and these are the things to pack for your session, and I totally guide them through the whole process.
Nice. And I appreciate that answer. I'm gonna come back to you with a few more.
Sure.
But now I'm going to ask that same question of let's see, who am I going to ask next? I'm going to ask Emily that same question. So let's hear her response to it. All right. Emily.
Hi.
Well, you've heard the question. I'm going to repeat it again just in case. But I want you to describe your ideal client. Who is this person? And is it the mom that you're gearing your attention to, or is it the senior you're gearing your attention to?
So my philosophy actually pretty much mirrors Mary's. However, with me being a teacher, I do a lot with my seniors and my students, and that kind of brings me in with on the student side and dealing with the youth because I know what they like and what they're looking for. I'm able to be with them one on one a lot, and then a lot of word of mouth from senior to senior. When it comes to the business aspect, I do deal with the parents. They, like Mary said, they want to know the details. They want to know the cost, what they're getting for their money, that what they are getting for their money is worth the shoot. They want to understand that I am going to provide their senior with the best possible um, session that I can and really exhibit or highlight who they are and what their hobbies and interests are. Sorry, my dog just got on the couch. And that's what I really like to highlight is who my students are, who my sessions are catered to. I love when they bring in their hobbies, their interests, their plans, their future plans. I've had students everywhere from showing livestock to welding, um, all the way into just the cars, the sports, the more traditional things. I have a few lined up that are going to be doing, they do skeet shooting, archery, things like that. I really like to highlight who they are, and that's what interests the seniors themselves and brings them in and makes them want to shoot with me because I am capturing exactly who they are. And then on the business side, we go with the parents, because quite honestly, the students don't care. The seniors don't care. They just want to show who they are and get really cool pictures with it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so you're right. We have to attract both. Um, do you find that it's the parents that are contacting you, or that it's the seniors that are contacting you?
So with me, because I am in the school system, it's about 50-50. I usually will get the parents from my Facebook, my social media, things like that. But a lot of times it's my students bringing in their parents, and their parents, hey, my kid said they talked to you and they really want to shoot with you. Or even past seniors go in and they talk to their friends who are still in school, and they're like, hey, you really should do it with her. And then the parents will contact me. So it's a little bit of a different situation with me. So it's about 50-50 with kids coming to me versus the parents coming to me.
Nice. Well, thank you for sharing that with me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I'm going to ask that same question now of Mimi. All right. Mimi. Excuse me. So you've heard the question already. I'm going to say it again just in case. I want you to describe who your ideal client is, and letting us know who is it that you're gearing it, your marketing to. Is it the senior or the parent? And trying to do both is what Mary and Emily said. But I've always found that to be a very difficult thing to do, because they have different interests. And
Yes.
so some of my marketing is geared towards the seniors, some of it would be geared towards the parent. But I got to where I was pretty much just gearing it towards the parents when I stopped, when I haven't done seniors in years. But I was gearing it towards the person who was going to be buying. What's your thought here? Who is your target market?
So, yes, I am targeting the parents right now. I have a series of physical mail outs that will be going out in the next few months. And I am initially targeting the parents to get their interest. But once the photo sessions are through and I have delivered the images, I like to create reels and stories and share those and have then the seniors share those. And I think that's the key in generating the business, getting a little bit of both sides. But initially, I do target the parents. I do the mail outs and referrals, other parents,
Yeah.
they like. And there are seniors that will contact other seniors, like Emily said, and they will tell the seniors, you should go with her and look at what she did for me. And then they're like, that's what I want. Ideally, I don't think the seniors or the parents know exactly what they want. They go based off what they have seen other people do. And so I'm trying to show them that, hey, here's some wall art that might interest you, and trying to show them more than just what Facebook and Instagram and TikTok is showing them.
Sorry.
So that is what I'm focusing on.
So if you guys saw a puppy come in here and give me a kiss, I guess I should address that. That's never happened before unless I call him in. I don't know why he came in and give me a kiss. That was really cute, Gray. But that's my husky, Gray, just in case you guys noticed that. Yeah, I'm doing the show from home. So Gray is here, and I guess he just needed a little bit of attention, or he needed to say, I love you, Dad. All right. So thank you so much for that, Mimi. I appreciate that. And I'm going to ask the next question of you. And I want to know what methods, and I'm going to pop this up on the screen, but what methods are you using to put yourself in front of your ideal client? You touched on it, but give us a little bit more insight.
So as I mentioned, I am working on a series of physical mail outs that will be going out to my clients in my community, I guess senior parents in my community, for the next few months. And this will be focusing on showing images that display wall art, as well as portraits of seniors and families celebrating the graduating senior. So for me, the senior year is very important because this could be the last year that the children are really home full time as they start moving on to, establishing their own life. It is important to capture this moments at this time. And so this is where I'm trying to gear and focus my attention in giving them, portraits that will reflect, the family environment while they're still at home. Thank you.
Yeah, because things keep on changing, and this is a big year for them. So, one of the milestone moments in someone's life.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that, Mimi. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to ask that same question now of Mary. So let's bring Mary on. Mary.
Yes.
All right, tell me the methods that you're using to get. You mentioned who your target market is. Now tell us how you're reaching out to them. What are you doing that causes them to know that you exist?
So I meet a lot of them out in the community because I do run a mentorship program. I am involved with pageantry and scouting and things like that. I'm just out in the community, and they meet me on the streets and things like that. Cibolo, which is my hometown, did a series of community events over the summer, and I just went and enjoyed it and socialized with my neighbors and things like that. And so they've gotten to know me. So it's through that, through my community connections, through volunteering in my community, that's how people know me. They know I'm also a photographer, but their first touch and their first connection with me is just as a neighbor, as a volunteer, things like that. My marketing tends to be pretty diverse. I keep an email list of potential clients. I also run a fairly active Facebook and Instagram account, working in towards TikTok. I still haven't really fine-tuned what I want that to look like and be yet, but I am loving getting to know the kids. They will reach out to me and drop into my DMs. Hey, Mrs. O, what you got going on? What do I need to know? Things like that. But just simply being involved, that's how they find me. Neighbors will say, hey, call Mary O. Mary O knows. I've gotten to be a pretty big resource for my neighbors. One of the other things that I like to do is offer charitable support and things like that. So I've done auction packages as well.
Nice. Sorry for that delay.
No, that's
I clicked on the
okay.
button and nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
It just froze for a second. That didn't happen. I don't think that's ever happened. But hey, maybe it has.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
I've raised like $29,000 for charitable sources in my community over the last 6 years, just with my photography business.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that definitely is that's going to cause people to notice in your community. And it's interesting how people say, well, what could I do to impact the environment I'm in, or what can I do to cause people to notice me? You don't need a huge number of people to notice you.
No.
The fact that you have done this, someone on the other side of town is totally unaware. They don't even know you exist, possibly.
Nope.
And it doesn't cause you to make less money. It just doesn't.
And I will say that I do have kind of a wide range of territory that I do photograph. I've got girls as far south as Rio Grande Valley that drive up here to work with me. I've had girls come from Dallas and from Houston to come work with me because of the way I work with them. And so it's what I do is a very much a confidence building experience. And we use photography as an avenue to talk about things that their parents want them to talk about, boyfriends and finances and planning the future. We get to have those conversations, and I get to be like a big sister when I'm standing there with a camera in my hand. I'm approachable and I'm easy, and it's, those are hard conversations, but they don't find them hard when they're having them in a fun environment.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you're putting yourself in their path so that they notice you. And that's one of those things. I have a class. Well, I'll be sharing this in the next few weeks before the end of the year. An episode that's called "Don't Seek the Seekers," and instead put yourself in front of them so that they just naturally are in your lap. They're just there for you. And so seeking the seekers would be an example of, when someone posts on a Facebook group that they're looking for a photographer, you'll see 50, 70 different photographers who post. And, they might look at the first 3 or 5, but I guarantee you number 26 and number 72 are going to get ignored.
They burn out by the time they get to photographer number 5. There's no point. Most of the time when that happens, somebody will tag me in that post and I'll say, yep, I'd love to help you. Here's my website. Let me know.
For sure.
But unless somebody tags me, I almost never drop my name in the list. It would have to be something very specific for me to jump on something like that, oh my God, I lost my photographer and my wedding is tomorrow. I would jump on that and say, hey, I can work with you and help you. And I have done wedding rescues. I don't normally shoot weddings. That is not my mainstay. I really just shoot seniors and pageant girls. But if somebody is suffering, I'm a heart person. I'm going to be there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Cool. Well, thank you for that, Mary. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to ask the same question now of Emily.
Sure.
So let's bring Emily on and ask her. All right, Emily. So you're having to do something to cause yourself to be noticed. You're a teacher, so that's one way, and it might be the only way, but I'm guessing that there's probably some other things that you do. So what is it that you're doing to put yourself in the path of whoever it is that you've defined as your ideal client?
So definitely being a teacher helps. But I've also, like Mary was saying, the whole Facebook thing and putting yourself into those threads, I will drop my name just because even if that person doesn't use me, somebody else might see it when they're doing a search. But I also always follow up with a direct message to the person, introducing myself, what my goals are for my sessions, and go ahead and get that line of communication open with them. Do they always answer? No. However, most of them do, and most people have responded to me going that they're surprised that somebody actually reached out to them with a direct message, because most people don't. Um, I don't know if it comes from my years of coaching job interview and follow-up messages or what, but I have always followed up with a tag with a direct message. I have had people book me just because I did direct message them and reach out to them that way. I do get tagged in a lot of them. I'm already booked through the end of the year. And so if it's something that I know I can't do, I will reach out to them and I will give recommendations for other photographers that I know. I have a list of people that I recommend to my seniors and their families if asked. And I have no problem sending business to other people when I know I can't cover something. But I do try really hard to make communication open, whether it's in person. Mary was talking about being very active in community events. I am the same way. I have worked with FFAs, 4-H's, different community events, different organizations, just to get my name out there and to get known by different people. Because once people really know who you are, they've spoken with you, they've worked with you, they are more likely to recommend you to other people. I love talking to people. I love meeting people. And like Mary was saying, I get to know my seniors. I get to know their families. Um, I was talking to someone that actually was one of my clients last night. I was talking to him today and about teaching versus photography, and he related it very well, saying basically teachers are really good speed daters because we're really good about getting to know someone very quickly, finding what their interests and their likes and things like that are, to get to know somebody's personality, to make that person want to open up and be a part of what you're doing. And I feel like I use that in my photography as well. I feel like it's a very natural thing for me to do, to connect with people on that level. I make my sessions very fun. I laugh, I joke, I crack up with the kids, their parents. I'm very open and free. I have those conversations like Mary does with her seniors, talking about boyfriends, girlfriends, hobbies, interests, plans. I really feel like if people know that you care and that you're taking a genuine interest in who they are, you really get the genuine person in front of the camera. And it's not just the fake poses and them being worried, because I feel like that worriedness comes across in your images. And I really try very hard to capture the genuine person in front of my camera. And the more relaxed my clients are with me and the more fun they're having, the better I feel like my images look. So I've worked really hard to get my name out there, not only with social media, but in the community as well. So I can get a lot of that word of mouth recommendations as well.
What, how many are you trying to get per year? How many seniors? What
I
would be
really
ideal?
don't set a goal for myself. I probably should. I did limit myself this year. Last year, I would shoot a maximum of 2 a day. This year, I told myself that I'm not burning myself out this year, and I was going to take more time for myself. So I will not book more than one senior a day, because most of my senior sessions are 2-hour sessions. So I do make sure that I have that time to spend with that senior and their family and not have to worry about what's coming next. I want to dedicate my time to them. I want to have those conversations with them. So I do usually shoot every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, whether it be seniors or family sessions or whatever. But during this busy time, the fall time, it is mostly seniors every Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. I've got more questions I want to follow up with, but I also know that I need to move on to the next question. So I better do that. But before I do ask that next question, I want to talk to the viewers real quick. you guys, there's a like button on the post. You can just click that like or click that love. Every single time you hear something that you like, you can do that. Unless you're watching it on a desktop, then you can only do it once. But if you're on your cell phone, then do it multiple times. Every time you hear something you like, click on that like button. Let our guests know, our panelists know that you appreciate them being here. And there's an even better way to do that: in the comments. Do me a favor. Tell Emily, thank you for taking your time to be here today. Tell Mimi, tell Mary, do it as a group. Say, thank you, panelists, for being here. I want to see that you're appreciating that they are spending their time, they're investing their time, they're taking it away from family to be able to be here with you today. So take a moment, say thank you in the comments. All right. Enough about that temporarily. I might bring it back up again if I feel like it. But I'm going to ask you the next question. I want you to describe a strategy to me that has consistently brought in new business.
Well, most of mine has been social media. Facebook, I'm really bad at Instagram. I actually had a senior that is very close to me. She graduated last year, and I know she's currently watching and doing her homework in college. But she actually is my Instagram manager. So I actually, because I'm not good with Instagram, I found myself having to ask my seniors questions about Instagram. So she took on that for me. I have a TikTok as well. Again, I am still figuring out the whole TikTok thing to make my videos. So Facebook has been my primary. My Facebook page has over 5,000 followers on it. It has been one of my biggest ways of getting clients and repeat clients. But also, I do free events and I pass out business cards. I go through business cards like crazy. I'm constantly ordering business cards, but I will do livestock shows and I do the powwow in Cibolo and I pass out my business cards everywhere I go. I just open up conversations with people, hand them my business card, and I have a lot of people reach back out to me when they need either family sessions or senior sessions, especially at the livestock shows with that agriculture connection. And having been an agriculture teacher, I am able to talk to those people that I get to know because these kids show for such a long time. I watch them grow up. I build those bonds with them, and they're more than happy to pass my name along. So, as they graduate and have brothers and sisters or friends, most of that is word of mouth. And so I'm starting to become sought after by certain people, certain groups of people because of my exposure with different realms of life.
Love it. That's cool. And would this happen to be the person you were
Yes,
referring to?
that's her.
Hi, Jenna. I'm glad you're
That's
here
the girl.
watching. You're famous, at least in my eyes. So,
And her Facebook profile picture is actually one of my images from the San Antonio
oh, that's
Livestock
great.
Show.
That's perfect. All right. So I'm going to ask, thank you for
Absolutely.
answering that question. That was good. I'm going to ask that same question now of Mimi. So, Mimi, can you tell me a strategy that you're using that is consistently generating new business?
So, being in the technology field, I embrace the changes in technology. I love Instagram, I love Facebook, I love TikTok, just creating reels and generating social media. I enjoy it. It's one of the things I enjoy the most about promoting my photography business. So I love creating the new reels. I love showcasing, the different aspects of the high school seniors, whether it be they're in sports or, whatever other activities they love doing. I enjoy creating the reels for them and having them share, on social media. So that's mostly where I do, and I do appreciate all of the referrals that my friends send out to their acquaintances. That is a big blessing for me. So something else I appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah. And so that's, would you say that you enjoyed it already the things that you're doing, or you came to enjoy them after doing them?
Well, I always like change, and that's one of the reasons why I'm in technology. I embrace the changes, and so it bringing, TikTok and the reels, I really enjoy it. I like using Canva for creating, stories
Good tool.
and other things. So I do enjoy all those tools that are available for us. I like that
Nice.
it's so much easier than it used to be with the changes in technology.
Well, now I know who to call on for the Daniel Santonio photography tournament to help out with marketing. So I don't know if you've got time for it, but I know who to call on now.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mimi. I appreciate that. So now let's ask that same question of Mary. So, Mary, can you describe for me a strategy that consistently generates new business for you?
Literally just giving back in my community. That's been a big winner for me. The last 5 or 6 years, I've donated photography packages to a theater program that they got to sell them as little gift cards. And then I fulfilled them and they kept all the cash. And that's been a huge win. 90% of the time, whoever came in for those little gift cards then purchased quite a bit more. But it was, even if they came in and they just fulfilled the gift card, it was enough to put a nice size portrait on their wall, or they could get their Christmas cards. But 9 chances out of 10, they spent anywhere between $600 and $1,000 more. So it really worked out both for the community groups as well as for myself. I've also donated auction packages. Y'all might be able to see this painting over my shoulder. I donated something like that to the Boy Scouts, and they were able to auction that off and make about $1,000 for that. The family that purchased that then had 4 of them made. They had one for each one of their children. And so that one donation then multiplied by 4. So it ended up being like a $10,000 client. So, that I find that when I give, then I do receive. And it's amazing how it happens, because you have to give not expecting it, but knowing it's possible.
Yeah. It's coming from your heart, because you would do it.
I would do it anyways. I would do it anyways. I would give to scouting. I really do. Being a single mom, there was not a dad in the picture, and scouting was the dad for both of my kids. So I would do for scouting no matter what, and I always have. And then, I was an arts person, so I give to arts programs as well. Yeah. So it's really been just one of those things that when I give, people value that, and they give back.
And are you doing anything to make sure that they know who it was that gifted it? Is there something that causes them to be aware? Is your name on it somewhere?
Yes, absolutely. So when they do, used to do, I had a physical gift card. Now it's an e-gift card. So all of the stuff is processed electronically. And I create a landing page for that organization, and it says Mary O and what's in their package and my process and my credentials and things like that. So they know what they're getting up front, and it's very, very clear. And that it says, additional things available, and these are some starting prices, and that, so it's really clear. But yeah, I immediately, as soon as one of those is processed, I call them and I say, hey, this is Mary O. You just purchased a gift card, and how can I get you started? And let's get you on the calendar and get a contract rolling, and, can I answer any questions? Huh? I am not excited about this at all. I don't like what I do at all. I absolutely hate
I can tell.
being a photographer. No, I really get excited about working with people and creating new art and making something special, that
Good.
I remember when my grandmother passed away about 25 years ago, my mom and her 6 siblings curling up in bed crying over one portrait, the only portrait of my grandmother. She didn't like pictures, and it took them 3 weeks just to find it. It had, it sat on my grandfather's nightstand till the day he died, and then it disappeared. And nobody asked about it until after she was gone. But I remember that, and that impact, is very important. So even me, I spend my time every year. I get in front of that camera. It's a big family thing.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it makes a difference, and having multiple images is important. Your kids need to see you grow. They need to see themselves grow in photos. That kids that are on the walls of the home, not in Facebook, but on your walls, they are more sure of their place in the home, in the family, and in their future, just being on your walls.
A photograph is how you show you love your family.
Yes.
If you're not wanting to be in a photograph, that's a selfish choice. I'm not saying it's a bad
Absolutely.
one. You may not like how you look right now, but to always say, I don't want to be in a photograph, always be, that is an act of selfishness. An act of love would be allow your family, those who love you, to have something that they can always keep.
Yep. Have that
it's
moment
an act of
with
love.
them.
So
And
when we allow our self-consciousness to
harmony.
just drain and be in a photograph, that says I love I love my family. It's what
It
it's
does.
saying.
And I will tell you, I am way more comfortable, in spite of the fact that I have walked in beauty pageants and I have sat through portrait sessions. I am still, all these years later, way more comfortable behind the camera than I am in front of the camera. I have a lot of anxiety over that, but I do it every single year. And it's one of the more fun family projects we do every year.
Good. I've got the next question for you.
Okay.
So let's see. I want you to talk about unique trends. And there we go. Put that up on the screen. What are some unique trends or approaches that you've seen in the senior portrait market that you've been able to take advantage of?
So I think getting away from the drape, the old black drape. I think getting away from that, getting out of the studio into the world, capturing personality, the vibrancy of your person. I think that trend has been life-changing, not just for the people experiencing the photos, but also for photographers, because we're able to capture better art. I can't tell you how many people go into that studio with the school portrait photographer, and they get that black drape, and it gets on, and they take that stupid photo, and they get home and they absolutely hate it, and they never buy it. I think being able to capture images, and I'm going to show her again, like this. This young lady is just beautiful, and this is just a moment in time between things. I said, here, sit down in this water, this will be fun. And she's like, sure, I love the water. And we were just sitting there talking, and she looked up at me, and this image was captured. Her mom actually bought a twin of this, and I had to have one for my studio. But we didn't do that 20, 30 years ago. We didn't do it when I was graduating. That this new trend of being out in the world and custom crafting for the environment, capturing kids in their Eagle sash and their Scout uniform and things like that. dancing, those things, we didn't do that. And I think doing that today, we're capturing kids as they are in a unique way. And I think that's really, really important.
I agree. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
I do definitely like that image. Can you tell me what the little gold circle is on the bottom right corner? Is that your logo or what is that?
It's not. That is my seal. It is a wax seal. So I this is finished as an oil painting. It's a hybrid process, taking a photograph and doing a process called pixel pushing to create it into an oil painting. It's then overlaid with hand brushed oils and that. And I work with an oilist to create this unique look. And it really is, it's a 2 artist process. And when we're done, I sign them and seal them. And so this is finished very old fashioned, kind of like an old master painting. And that's my crest. That's the Mario crest.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Right,
I love doing unique art. I can do prints all day long, but that
it makes you proud.
Pushes my button. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, totally makes sense. I'm sure some of you guys watching are saying, hey, that sounds pretty cool. If you do think that's pretty cool, why don't you give her a little like or a little love? It's real easy. It's just a matter of taking this little thing right here. If you're on a desktop or if you're on a cell phone, there's just, you just click on it. It's real easy. Click that love button, click that like button, and in the comments, let her know what a cool idea. So thank you for sharing that, Mary.
Yeah, when you go beyond the cell phone's capabilities, then you really start making money. You've really got to be able to push that limit.
I like how you said that. I say it in a similar way. I say you've got to do more than what the neighbor could have done.
Right.
If you're a family portrait photographer, they could have come over and photographed in your backyard and in a pretty place, your backyard, if you have one, or at a neighborhood park, and they could deliver digital files. The neighbor could do that. If you're not doing more than what the neighbor could do, man, you're hard pressed to call yourself a pro.
Right. Well, and you've got to take the training wheels off your camera and get into manual and really start making the judgment calls for your equipment versus letting it tell you what it wants to do. I think when you get off program and you get off aperture and time priority, and you're in full manual, you're able to create things that the camera can't visualize. Makes okay calculations. It's okay for a jumping off point, but when you start taking those training wheels off, you really push the limits of what your equipment can do.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to ask that question now of Emily. So let's bring Emily on. So Emily, can you tell us about maybe some unique trends or approaches that you're seeing, or maybe that you're choosing not to do also? You can address it in any way you want to.
Sure. Actually, first of all, I think Mary's 100% correct. Shooting full manual is the way to go. I don't think I have shot on anything but full manual in a very long time. It really does expand your horizon and give you a lot more say-so in what your camera is going to do. And I really love Mary's oil hybrid painting. I think that's super awesome. My take that I've been doing is really highlighting their hobbies and interests. And, Jenna popped on here earlier, and her profile picture is her steer at the San Antonio Livestock Show. And her set of pictures, along with one of my other seniors last year with his steer at the San Antonio Livestock Show, kind of accidentally went viral. And I didn't realize how much traffic it was going to bring to me. And starting a couple of months ago, I already had people messaging me about sessions at the San Antonio Livestock Show. as well as other livestock shows in Texas, people from all around the state have been reaching out to me. They've seen my work, and they're really seeking those specialty portraits with their livestock animals. And I think as a really good senior photographer, being comfortable with what the interest or things that your senior wants to include in their session, and really catering those sessions to that senior and making it their own and giving them ownership of their session is one of the biggest things that is a highly marketable trait for your senior photographer, because you are able to offer something that most other portrait photographers or your neighbor can offer them. With me being so big with the agriculture industry and so involved with it, I'm comfortable with all types of animals, not only just dogs and cats and small animals, but our steers, our hogs, goats and sheep, and all of the different species that we show. I actually work with horses quite a bit. I've grown up showing horses, so that's one of my background animals. And being able to pose not only your senior correctly, but get the animal to look correct as well is a big thing, because anybody can take a picture of a kid with an animal. But if the kid and the animal both don't look right, say their ears aren't forward, or they have a bad expression on their face, or the animal is chewing, yes, it's a picture, but it doesn't bring that stellar pizzazz that you can bring when you know both that how to pose a person and how to pose that animal. And I take a lot of pride in myself and being able to selectively work with those animals and those seniors to be able to provide a really cool experience like that, and then really highlight not only that animal and that kid with their bond, but their achievements as well. And then when you go into seniors that do not have animals and they go into like the shooting sports or dance or anything else, cheer, sports, is being able to be creative with their session and offer them something that no other photographer is going to offer them. When I was approached by one of my seniors last year about welding, we actually hooked it up in his garage, and he welded in his garage, and I took some really amazing pictures of him welding. And it's not something most senior photographers can offer them, especially just in a studio. You cannot weld in a studio. You can't bring your livestock projects in the studio. So I really try to go out in the field with my seniors and be there for them to capture things that most people are not willing to do with them, because I really like that is truly what your senior wants and their families want to remember, because a lot of their lives are spent in this hobby or this sport or whatever, and a lot of them go into careers like that, and they're able to highlight that, and being able to showcase their achievements is one of the biggest things. And that's super important for a senior photographer, is to showcase the achievements of that senior and everything that has led them up to this point in their life, and then go on with highlighting what they may be doing as a career or majoring in college if that's what they're going to do. So I think the unique trends with this is really driving home who these kids are and what their major interests are, and not just giving the run of the mill, let's go take a picture in front of this background. And I've had so many parents come to me during the sessions and go, we got the portraits back from the school and we hate them. It doesn't look like my kid. Or, they're not overly satisfied with it. And then while we're working together and I'm catering their session to them and they get their gallery back from me, they love it because they truly showcase who their child is. And they are usually cannot be more ecstatic than being able to go, that's exactly who my kid is. And that is what defined my kid as a senior. And so that's what I really pride myself into, is is giving those sessions that extra pizzazz and that, I don't know, just something extra that really makes it a personable session for my seniors.
It's a lot of variables that you're considering, and
Absolutely.
the fact that you had a photograph go viral and that caused a bunch of attention is fantastic. But when it comes to things like that, it's not usually something that's repeatable. But is there something about it that could be?
Absolutely. Luckily I was able to repeat that session a couple of times. As long as there's no changes in the setup, with especially the San Antonio Livestock Show, I will be able to repeat that. And again, that was in full manual. And one of the things that was brought up when those photos went viral was off-camera flash. And somebody mentioned, yes, I would have gotten better images with off-camera flash. However, when we are dealing with animals, that flash can spook them. Our cattle are on the asphalt, so they have no traction. So the risk of a cow, one of the steers slipping on that asphalt does not outweigh using off-camera flash. Being able to go in full manual and adjust my settings and still get the images that were as powerful as those were without injuring one of our show animals or getting anyone else hurt was our biggest thing. So could it have been better? Absolutely. But it was not risking the safety of the animal and the people around. So I do plan to repeat it this year, crossing my fingers. But yes, it is things that we can repeat, especially knowing my camera, knowing my gear, and being able to work with the different lighting in full manual. But sometimes there are those moments where you get it and you're like, there's no way I can do this again. It's just one of those, it just happened that way. Luckily, those are the awesome ones. But with the big thing that went viral, yes, I should be able to repeat that easily.
Good. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that, Emily. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right, I'm going to ask the same question now of Mimi. So, Mimi, can you discuss the, let's see, some of the important or unique trends that you're seeing? I'll put that question up so you guys can see it.
Okay, so I agree, and taking off-camera flash with us everywhere is fantastic. Being able to utilize taking our sessions outdoors, going to the beach, going to the mountains, and doing photography at different locations, that has been incredible. Just seeing how photographers are using off-camera flash and tweaking the lights and adding even more lights when they are doing in-studio photography, and just coming up with ideas that are more technical and changing things up. They're not the same old studio lights that used to be, and we're coming up with more creative ideas. Those are the kinds of things that I am trying to utilize more in my business. Sure.
That's it sounds smart. Sounds like you really thought it out well. And are these things that you've done from the beginning or evolved into?
Evolved into. Learning off-camera flash was a challenge, but it was fun and it's worth it.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Well, I have the next question for you, Mimi. And let's see. But I want to remind you guys, make sure you're clicking that like button, click that love button, and comment. Say thanks for being here, you guys. All right. So I want you to discuss the importance of building relationships and growing your senior portrait business. And I'm not talking about speaking to a client that you're working with, photographing. I'm talking about growing relationships, how you grow the business, relationships you create with schools or other businesses, or things that are causing you to gain more business, because the subject is making money. And so I want everything really with the answers to be about how others who are watching the show can grow and can make more money with how they are doing these different things that we're talking about.
For sure. So definitely building relationships are important. I do like to, when I'm at my daughter's games, approach the coaches and assist with any photography needs that they might have, be it creating banners for their gym or, even fundraisers. They're doing buttons that they're going to be selling for the basketball season. So all these things just to generate the business and get the word out about my business. Um, and not only that, but once the parents are seeing the photographs out there, then they're approaching, oh, we need family portraits. And that's generating more business for me. So those are the kind of things, you always want to um, foster those relationships with everybody you meet, basically.
That makes sense. I mean, you're doing what you love, and you're attracting the people who you want to do what you love with. So growing those relationships just causes more business to happen with those who you want to work with. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Mimi. I sure do appreciate it. I'm going to ask the that same question now of Mary. So, Mary, can you discuss the importance of building relationships and growing your business? And again, this is not talking to the senior while you're photographing them. This is the business side.
Sure. Developing relationships with local high schools, with sports teams, with clubs, I have actually really solid relationships with several members of city council and with my neighborhood association and things like that. I'm just somebody they know as a go-to place that, hey, in a pinch, Mary's a great resource. And just knowing that I'm a great resource has really fueled my business over time. And that I think that doing that has been, put me in a position where they know I care. And because they know I care, they want to be in business with me. That it's not, they want to be in business with me and, oh, by the way, she also cares. It's the other way around. And I think that's what sells my business, is how much I care for people and I care for my community and things like that. It's made me a standout judge and director as well in the pageant realm. And they will come to me specifically because of my photography background and say, come speak to these people about top model and what it takes to win in the studio. Come speak to these people about building their pageant portfolio, because this is what's going to win. And we're talking girls, they spend thousands of dollars just to show up at a weekend pageant. They want to go home with the prize, so being that resource and that's what's building the business. It's not me saying, here, let me shoot you and give me money. It's the other way around.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Thank you for sharing that, Mary. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to ask that same question now of Emily. So let's bring her on. So Emily, can you share a little bit about what you're doing to improve and build relationships so that you can bring in more business?
Absolutely. So I am involved in several community events. Like I had mentioned, I do the powwow for Cibolo. And so getting my name out there with different community events has really helped. Kind of like Mary was saying, people learn that you're there and you're in that community and you are a member of that community and you care about the community. And that really does help. I've also, since I'm no longer teaching at a high school, I don't have the direct senior access. I'm at a middle school now, and I've already had coaches start reaching out to me and to shoot sports teams. So with shooting the sports teams, the families get to know you. They know, again, that even though you're with them and the kids and you're shooting the kids, but that's when they start pulling you in for family sessions, or we have older siblings that needs senior session, things like that. But really just being active in the community is one of the biggest things, because people do get to know you and people are comfortable working with people that they know. And so when they have gotten to know you and they know you're a member of the community and they know that you're there for their kids and that you are there for the community, they are very, very willing to work with you and book you and keep going back to you time after time.
So apparently Nancy has something that she wants to share with you.
I see.
Nancy, you rock. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because those building those relationships, causing those people to know you care, like you said, this is going to be a long-term thing. You want to build those relationships because, well, first it just feels right to do that, but then there's that side effect, that other thing that's happening also, and that's causing you to be known, the work that you do to be known, people to call you, people to text and email and show up, so that you have more business. And that is doing business with people you like, people doing, you're not having to convince anyone that you're good and that you know what you're doing. They come to you already sold. They just need to know what's the next step. What do I need to do? Tell me a little bit about how your process works and what I'm going to spend and all that kind of stuff. And so that I see that as being beneficial to you and working in the way you've described it.
And they realize you're human. You are a person.
Yes.
You are part of their community, and it's different because they can relate to you as well.
Nice. Very nice. All right. So I've got the next question for you, but I'm going to skip one.
Okay.
And move to another one, so you don't know you're answering this question. So putting you on the spot. We'll see if Nancy still thinks you're the best. I bet she will. So I want you to tell me about pricing. So can you share some strategies for pricing? And that includes not only how have you chosen and what price range, because photographers come in all different levels.
Mm-hmm.
There's the McDonald's level. If we're talking about restaurants, there's McDonald's level. There's the Applebee's, there's the fine dining level, and they're all good. It's like going into a tool store. There aren't tools that are bad. They're all good. They're just all for different purposes, all for different reasons. And so can you tell us about your strategies for pricing your senior portraits?
Absolutely. So personally, I offer 3 different packages. Like I said before, I try to cater to the needs of my seniors, but I also try to cater to their budgets. That's super important because not everybody can afford the high-end photographer. I do try to stay reasonable while still making a little bit of money for myself. I do it because I love it. Same reason I teach. I love my students, and so it's a passion for me. I start off. I have a 30-minute package, and most of mine is just digital delivery. I can do the books and the prints and things like that, but for me, what has worked is digital delivery, and they get their images. Depending on the package, how many images they get. And then if they want to buy the whole gallery, they are allowed to. I have my 30-minute session. It's perfect for just the cap and gowns or just a real quick session, or maybe that's all we can afford. No big deal. I try to maximize the time that we have together. I offer an hour shoot. And really, the hour shoot is my least common shoot. Um, Usually once I've had conversations with the parents and my seniors, they decide that my top package, my 2-hour shoot, is their ideal package because it gives us more time. We can change locations, they can change outfits, anything we really need to do, because they don't realize how quickly the time goes by, because once we get shooting, it goes by very, very fast, especially if you're changing locations and outfits. Now, with my pricing myself, I have spoken with other photographers in my area. Some phenomenal photographers have been really good guides for me, and they've been on this show before. And they have really taken me under my wing. They've talked to me. One of them, well, actually several of them, tell me that I'm still too cheap for the quality that I offer and for what I offer. But again, I do try to stay reasonable for a majority of people because I do want everybody to have that opportunity to have a session that they really love and they really enjoy, and that they can be proud of their pictures. Like you were saying, Jim, there are photographers for every budget. There's also photographer styles for every budget. And when I'm talking to people, if I am not within their budget, I do not get offended. And that's one of the biggest things, is to not get offended by that, because I do try to price myself accordingly, according to talent and the time that it takes, as well as my equipment. But I'm more than happy to give suggestions um, to people who may need a different photographer. But I also am more than happy to offer payment plans. I do that with my events as well. If I'm shooting quinceañeras and things like that, or weddings, I have no problem offering payment plans. So it is affordable for people. I break it up, whatever makes somebody comfortable, because like I said, I really do want them to have something that they love and they enjoy for years to come. So I really feel like knowing your target market, and the location that you're in, and the location, the San Antonio, New Braunfels area, we have a lot of photographers at every skill level and every budget level. And I was told by one of my mentors, that's fine. We do have a very large group of photographers, but we also have a very large clientele. And there is enough people for every single photographer in this area. And there's somebody for everybody. And I really feel like being able to offer different packages and make it affordable for my clients, and give them the best quality that they can afford, is my biggest goal. So, talking to other photographers, having those conversations with people who are on level with you, or above level, or even below you, having those conversations about how they price, and how they see their business and their clients, has been super important for me. I was very, very uncomfortable when I raised my prices, because I did not trust the process at first. However, I was reassured, just trust the process. You're going to be fine. What you offer is good enough. And once I did trust that process, and I did decide to go ahead and increase my packages, it has not affected my booking, which I was promised it wouldn't, and it hasn't. But it has also allowed for me to make a tiered package to offer that 30-minute, that hour, or that 2-hour session for my seniors. And I will also travel anywhere those seniors want to go. And depending on where it is, I will travel with a fee. But a lot of times, depending on the situation, I love hearing people's stories. And the cool thing about running my business is I'm able to make split-second decisions. And if I feel like somebody um, has a hardship or something like that, I'm able to give back to them. And I feel like that's important as well.
That makes sense. A lot of photographers feel that way, and some do that and some choose not to. Totally up to them and whatever works best for who they're working with and themselves, because it's got to be fulfilling for themselves. It's got to fit some whatever need. If it's someone's sole income, then maybe they don't have as much leeway there. But being that you have a full-time job, maybe you'd have a little bit more leeway in pricing that others may not have. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with that, or do you think that's nuts?
100%. I do agree with that, because I do have a full-time job, and that allows me, that pays my bills. My photography is, again, it's a job of passion. I would love to make it my full-time job one day, but right now it's my fun money. It pays for better equipment, more equipment, things like
Yeah.
that. But it really allows me to have that leeway to be able to give back to my community and my seniors, and make decisions like that. If it was my full-time job and my bills 100% needed my photography, it would be a little bit different. But I do have that type of heart where I am going to give back to my people and try to be as open and easy to work with as I can.
Good. Thank you, Emily.
Mhm.
I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to ask that same question now of Mimi. So let's bring Mimi on. Mimi, can you tell us a little bit about how you do your pricing, how you share it, just strategies, what your opinion is, your philosophies when it comes to pricing?
Sure. I also have a tiered package system where I have 3 packages for them to choose from. We can do something simple, or we can go as creative in multiple locations as they need. Um, the possibilities of going creative gives them a lot more to work with. So that is always something that they're more interested in. But we with those creative sessions, we also have some video production that can come in and create some videos of sessions. I like those moving portraits where we can see what they're doing and take a little bit of a snapshot with the videos and catch the actions of what they are doing. So those are some of the things that I like to offer with my packages. And also all of my packages do include some type of prints, whether it's
Good.
the proof prints or
Yeah.
the larger wall art.
Nice.
So, mhm.
And do you find yourself readjusting those regularly, or are you pretty much set? You've done all the evolution that you're going to do. There's really nothing that needs to be changed on that, or is it continuous process? You're going to
It's a
continue to
continuous
change.
process for sure. I
Okay.
think things are changing, the markets are changing, and as we offer more items or change what we can offer in our packages, we also have all the cart items that they can purchase. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of room for change and flexibility.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Mimi. I appreciate it. All right. I'm going to ask that same question now of Mary. All right, Mary, tell us about your pricing philosophy. What's your thoughts here? How do you share your prices with your clients? Tell us
So
about that.
my pricing's actually in my senior magazine. I have a senior magazine that goes out to every prospective client. In it, they have 2 choices of sessions. They can either do a light session or a luxe session. The light session includes no hair and makeup. It's 2 hours. It's in studio or in the field close to my home. Those are their choices. Those are the only choices. They get a consultation, but their consultation is by phone or online. If they choose to go with the luxe, it's full hair and makeup. I bring in an artistry team that is highly skilled, award-winning, amazing, and they do makeup based upon my shooting style. So they know how I shoot, and they do the makeup to match, such that the makeup not only lasts the entire session, but it also coordinates and minimizes how much after work I have in the way of editing. In the luxe session, it's unlimited wardrobe changes, unlimited locations. We usually, the girls will go in for hair and makeup at 1 o'clock. If it's a guy, we meet up about 3 o'clock, and we shoot till we pretty much run out of light, or we get tired, or we have accomplished whatever it was we set out to accomplish. We can do video in that. We can do a lot of things. It's totally up to them. I did have a senior this season that wanted to. I've done destination sessions. I had not done one since 2019. But I got to go to Hollywood and photograph a young lady in Hollywood this year. Back to traveling, yay, yay, yay. I really love being able to do that and go out there with my clients and, just help them create an experience they wouldn't get any other way. And but I started where everybody starts with, really, really, really cheap prices. And when I was cheap, I had a lot of people negotiating for cheaper, and it really became a struggle. And in 2019, I raised my prices, and I quit getting people wanting to negotiate cheaper. And I have not had to raise my prices again. And keep in mind that I'm a full-time photographer. The other 2 photographers also have other jobs. This is my bread and butter and roof over my head and everything for my family. So my pricing's a lot different, but I offer a lot of extra bells and whistles to go with that pricing. And that the light session that I do is all inclusive, 20 images. They don't get to pick. That's artist selection. I send them 20 of the best images from that session. The Lux session, they come in and we do a full design appointment, and we talk about what their walls are going to look like and what their cards are going to look like and what their album's going to look like, you know, and things like that. It's just totally different. They can choose to purchase all of the images. That is an option, but it's totally up to them. And most of my clients choose one of my top tier packages. I think I've shot one light session in the last 3 years. The other ones have all chosen to go with the Lux session, as well as my highest package, which is $4,000. And they choose to do that. I do offer payment plans. I use PayPal credit to administer them, or Afterpay, whichever works for my clients. Or I also take credit cards. I used to manage them in-house and do, you know, interest-free, all that jazz. But what I found is that when people fell behind on their payments, they never did catch up. So if I put that off on Afterpay or PayPal credit, they still get 6 months, same as cash, but somebody else has to negotiate those late payment fees and tiers and things like that. And I don't have to worry about it. I can simply fulfill that and give them their art, and I don't have to worry about anything else.
Nice. Well, that's a lot of variables, a lot of things to consider. Thank
there were some things. There were some things. But I've
a lot of us do start off
12 years.
How long?
12 years now.
Yeah, 12 years. Very
cool. It's been a grow.
Very cool.
But I'm very proud. I haven't had to raise my prices since 2019. I've been doing good.
Yay.
Even with inflation, I have not raised my prices. I'm very proud of myself.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to bring the other two back on because that was the last question that we have time for. And I want to say thank you to all three of you, Mary, Emily, Mimi. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your experiences, and being willing to sacrifice something else to be here on the show so that you can share what you know with others. You guys rock. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This was wonderful. I love getting to hear the other photographers talk. And
well, I'm sorry that I didn't have time for closing thoughts, which I usually like to do, but I definitely appreciate you guys being here and your contribution to the photographer community. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.
I'm going to take you guys off. And aren't they wonderful? You know what? You guys do me a favor over in the comments. Tell them that they were wonderful. Take a moment. I mean, they gave you an hour and a half of their time plus the prep time and whatever post time they're going to put in. The least I'm asking you to do for them is say, thank you. You speakers were wonderful. You can isolate one, you can say all three of them, but take a moment in the comments section right now to let them know that you appreciate them and what they've done and taken their time to share with you their experiences. All right. So you guys who watch the show know that we do the Portrait Prophet show weekly. And I'm going to be telling you the next three titles. And before I do that, I've got two things that I want to announce. I want to share with you. The first is, and let's bring that up there it is, on Thursday, this Thursday. Those of you who are in San Antonio or San Antonio area or are going to be here on Thursday, I want to invite you to come to the a photographer meetup. We do this every single month on the second Thursday. We've done it since 2006. We've had over 500 of these different meetings in that period of time. And this is something that we have. As far as charging you for it, I take on the cost. Now I do accept a donation to help offset the cost. But this one, we're going to be doing a dinner meeting, and it's going to be at Viola's Ventana near SeaWorld. And so if you want food, you can get your own food. I'm not going to buy your food. But I want to invite you to this. We're going to have a speaker, Ray Crockett, who is former military and a photography teacher, share his experiences about the art of visual storytelling. So put that on your calendar, and I'll see you 6:30 at Viola's Ventana this Thursday. I also want to make sure that you guys are aware of the annual San Antonio Photography Tournament this year in its 11th year. And you can get to that, get more information by going to the address that you see here, photofun.eventbrite.com, photofun.eventbrite.com. And if you've got your cell phone out, then you can point it right at that QR code, and it'll take you right to the website to get more information. So that is on the 22nd. That's a Sunday at Confluence Park, right on the Riverwalk, or right on the river. And we're going to be allowed to go around and create lots of beautiful images. It is an instant gratification photographer's challenge, meaning you bring your camera. You don't know what the categories are until you get there. And there is no post-production. It's straight out of the camera. So it levels the playing field, meaning that amateurs sometimes beat out the pros. So you pros who are watching right now, show up and show the amateurs what you're made of. But no post-production. You just choose the images you want to submit. You submit them before lunch. During lunch, the judges will do their thing, and then we'll announce the winners. We've got prizes from Digital Pro Lab and others, and we will be doing certificates and that same day. And by 2:30, 2:45 or so, we'll be done. We'll have handed out all of the awards. The event is over. It's not a popularity contest for Facebook and Instagram to see how many followers you have. Nope. This is just a fun event getting photographers together. So if you enjoy photography, then there really is not a good reason to not show up to this. Maybe you can come up with one, but it's not a challenge to see what excuses and reasons that you can find. It's about having fun with other people like you. And you don't get this opportunity very often. In fact, this is only happening once a year. The 11th annual San Antonio Photography Tournament. So show up. I want to see you there. All right, enough about those announcements. Now I want to move into what the upcoming shows are. And as you guys know, we do the Portrait Profit Show every single week. And all I ask is an hour of your time. Well, an hour and a half for these panelist sessions, just because we've got a lot of things to cover. But we do this every single Monday at noon. And so the next one coming up in 1 week from today at noon is Decide, fast food or fine dining. Now, I mentioned that a little while ago. So what does that actually mean? Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. How do you want your clients to perceive you? This thought-provoking episode will challenge you to look at your business and inspire you to take control over the experience you deliver and the value you communicate. Whether you align with a more accessible or luxury approach, you gain clarity on conveying your vision to attract your ideal client. I want you to add this to your calendar every Monday at noon. I want you to add to your calendar, but I want you to do this so you can gain a fresh perspective on positioning yourself for success. And then on October 23rd, we're going to be talking about your 2024 plan. Now, many of you have already planned out your 2024, but in talks with lots of different photographers, I've come across a lot of you who do not have your 2024 planned out yet. We need to do that. So let's do that on the 23rd, October 23rd. We're going to be talking about your annual plan and the different things that you need to be considering, and giving yourself enough time to do your marketing and other things to make sure that your goals, your dreams become your reality. October 23rd at noon. Is your 2024 planned out yet? Put that on your calendar. All right. And then on October 30th, now this one is going to be different. This is going to be really different because I'm going to convey stories that you guys are sending to me about some unusual situations that have happened while you are on the job. Now, this could be scary. It is the day before Halloween, or it could be just weird or off, a little bit, something strange. Just share it with me. Send it to me at jim@landersphotoschool.com, jim@landersphotoschool.com. Send me your strange, unusual stories, and I might read them on the 30th when we talk about unusual situations. By the way, at least 2 of them are ghost stories, so getting excited. That'll be fun. Noon, October 30th. All right. So I appreciate you guys being here today this is show number 138 since we started a panel discussion on making money with senior portraits. Our fantastic panel has shared their wealth of knowledge and experiences, leaving us with lots of valuable insights and practical steps that we can use. We hope that this evening's experiences, this evening's discussions have inspired and empowered you. As you apply the tips that have been shared by our panelists, I hope the journey towards your definition of success is filled with creativity and fulfillment and prosperity. This is a business after all. I hope your journey towards your definition of success is fulfilling. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep capturing those beautiful moments. Thank you for dedicating your time and sacrificing other important things in your life to grow your knowledge on the business side of photography, because that is going to be how you achieve success, the success you deserve. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to watching you grow. One more special thanks to Emily and Mimi and Mary. You 3 are wonderful. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your time and attention here today, and thank you for your efforts to be such an amazing photographer. I encourage you to to share this Portrait Profits show that we do every single week. And we don't miss ever. We're here. You can count on us. And of course, tune in to the next live stream a week from today at noon. Together, we help each other achieve our goals and make a difference in the world through our passion for portrait photography. For Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, my name is Jim Landers, bringing you the weekly Portrait Profits show with evolving content, awareness, and even fun as we unpack the mysteries of the business side of photography. We do that with tips and insights to help you with the business side so that you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Thank you for investing your time here on the Portrait Profits show. Thank you, guys. I look forward to watching you grow. Bye for now.